Well, hi everyone. I'm John Ritland, and welcome to this review of WWE NXT Steel Cage Mania. 2 cage matches on one show. That's not overkill, not one single goddamn bit. Boy, NXT kind of is becoming the hotshot territory, isn't it? Or the hotshot company, or hotshot brand, whatever you want to call it. That being said, was it a bad show? Not really, but let's get into the good and the bad of the show. And let's just start with the fact that Beth Phoenix was not on commentary. She was selling the injury, the RKO from Randy Orton from out of nowhere that happened on Raw. Makes sense. So Morrow and Nigel call the action. I gotta say that if they want to bring Beth Phoenix back for a few matches here and there, this might not be a bad idea. They might want to start doing two-person commentary teams. Maybe rotate Beth in with Morrow at some point, but they really might want to just consider doing that because three-person commentary teams are ridiculous at times. But anyway, I digress. Hopefully Beth Phoenix is actually okay just selling all this. Morrow welcoming us, and we start off with Dakota Kai with Raquel Gonzalez versus Tegan Nox. Steel cage match, the first of 2. This was the better one. The other one had a better finish, but this one was the better match. These two really did go all out with some great action. Now, there was the cannonball in the corner. It looked a little bit stiff. I hope both of them are okay, because there was a bit of an awkward landing there. Dakota got sent into the cage. There was really good action here. These two women did tear it up and did really kick off the show proper. The chiropractor, I can appreciate that pun for 2. Chokeslam off the ropes by Tegan. Of course, Lady Kane, and Tegan dives off the cage onto Dakota. That was impressive. And Raquel gets kicked away from the door. Oh no, Tegan's gonna win. Well, Dakota's gonna try to win. Oh no, shiniest wizard for 2. And then she ended up doing this weird finish, and I'm gonna try to describe it as best I can. So okay, Dakota's knee got slammed into the door because Tegan was over the cage, wall, trying to get over the top, trying to get to the floor, and she kicked the cage door into Dakota's knee. But then Raquel Gonzalez just trapped Tegan in between the door and the cage wall, and Dakota still got out. So both look pretty strong. Dakota, basically beat up, and Tegan managed to get the victory. So I get what they were trying to do, and this was a decent it was a unique finish, I will say that, and it continues the feud, because no doubt we're going to get Tegan and Dakota in that ladder match. The number 1 contenders ladder match at TakeOver Tampa Bay, and they're going to tear each other up, and hopefully one of them will win. It's probably going to be Dakota, and then Tegan's going to take the title from her at some point if Dakota takes it from Rhea. That's just a little fancy booking right there. Not a bad match. And then we get Morrow saying, son of a bitch, which was pretty funny. And then Balor says that Walter forced his hand, and he will give his answer, he will give his response very soon, sooner than you think. We're getting Balor versus Walter at TakeOver UK Ireland, or TakeOver Ireland is what they should call it. We then get a Rhea Charlotte preview with Rhea recounting her story of how she came in, and people said she was just a new Charlotte, and then she changed her look and everything. Let's be honest, Rhea was beautiful when she first came in, and is beautiful now. The transformation of the look is absolutely great, though, and this look really does suit her. She has put in the work, and hopefully Rhea retains at WrestleMania, because I don't need to see Charlotte as NXT champion. We then get Shotzi Blackheart on a tank, and then we get Robert Stone hyping up Chelsea Green, saying she is the face of the women's division. I like Chelsea Green, but in what alternate universe? That's something I'd really like to know. This is a women's ladder match qualifier. The winner advances into that number 1 contenders ladder match to get a TakeOver Tampa Bay, to get a shot at the NXT championship down the road. And Chelsea Green wins pretty quickly. Shotzi gets in a few shots, and no pun intended, but the unprettier from Chelsea Green, there we go. Match wasn't all that great, but it did serve a purpose. And hey, 2 women's matches in a row. There we go. They're featuring the women's division a little bit more. Kind of like them to feature a few more. Maybe we could get a half and half show at some point and feature some more of the women, but maybe we're going to get more qualifiers, easy for me to say, as the thing goes on. So then we get a Dominic Dijakovic is out with a hamstring hematoma, I believe is what they said. Hopefully he is going to be okay. He's week to week. Hopefully he's going to be back in time for TakeOver Tampa Bay. Keith Lee promo, he runs down facing Dijakovic, and how Damian Priest is making his presence known. And here's Cameron Grimes, that is, Mr. Swamp Gas, as I like to call him. I would say that used to be Luke Harper, now Brody Lee, but no, he was the king of Swamp Gas. So, boy, he got booed a lot. Boy, Grimes got booed a shit ton. It was kind of funny, and Lee just kept he was trying not to crack up while this was going on. And Grimes was like, well, I beat Dijakovic, so I asked Mr. Regal, and he's given me a match for your North American Championship next week. Okay, cool. We're going to get that match. And then Lee just shoves him out of the ring and says, it's an equal opportunity ass woman, basically. Okay, cool. Austin Theory piece. He talks about, having aspirations and being the best in NXT already at only 22 years old. Swerve says, nah, you're really not. How about you try me? So there we go. Fish and O'Reilly versus ONeill, Lorcan, and Danny Burch. It was hard-hitting, as you would expect with these guys. I don't know what ONeill, Lorcan's Twitter is, but it's amazing. It's just hilarious. Double blockbuster off the steel steps as we go to break. And it was hard-hitting with some nice heel work as they ground down on Danny Burch. And then Lorcan would come back. He would get the hot tag. He would do some good stuff, but in the end would fall to the high-low 1, 2, 3. And I really like Lorcan and Burch as a team. If I had a wrestling company and had the resources, the funds, unlimited funds, I would absolutely sign Lorcan and Burch and say, hey, come over here and be one of the faces of my tag team division, because they're both good singles. I think Lorcan's the better single because he's a little bit younger. No offense against Burch, but they're a dynamite team. And Undisputed Era, they want a rematch with the Broserweights. Here come the Broserweights. And then suddenly the grizzled young veterans show up. They want a title shot. But they're not going to get one just yet. But maybe they're going to make their presence known, and we're going to get a triple threat at TakeOver Tampa Bay. So we get Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Austin Theory. All day Austin Theory. Phrasing. Or maybe that's what he intends. Who knows? Power versus speed. Though Theory is no slouch in the agility, and Swerve certainly has his own power, it was obviously Austin Theory with the strength advantage, Swerve with the agility, and this was some good stuff, some very nice exchanges. There was some nice bicep focus by Isaiah Swerve Scott. There was, this variation of the Uchi-Goroshi, the RP1 as it's called for 2, some very heavy strikes, nice arm scissors and an arm snap by Swerve, but in the end, we get the Austin Theory launch. 1, 2, 3. Austin Theory gained the victory despite having, just use of one arm since he was selling his bicep. Good stuff. Enjoyed this. I love Swerve. Hopefully Swerve does get featured a little bit more. I like that he's being featured in matches like this, but hopefully it's not just he's a good hand, because he can be a really good Dynamite performer and definitely an upper mid-carder in NXT. He could absolutely challenge for the North American Championship, and they wanted to put him in a tag team challenge for the tag titles at some point. He could do that too. The guy can really do it all. He's a fantastic guy. If you get a chance to meet Swerve, met him on a lot of indie shows because he frequented the 5 Northwest. Really great guy, really solid human being, and fantastic worker. So, we get Killer Cross vignettes, by the way. We get 2 of them that night. And we get Mauro Ranallo interviewing Johnny Gargano. Gargano mentions how he was the only wrestler to show up at Mauro's Bipolar Rock and Roller premiere, and that meant a lot to Mauro. Gargano got angry, even got Mauro's face, saying, Mauro, you know why. You know why I did that to Ciampa. You know why. He knows why. And we're going to find this out. And he gets in Mauro's face. Mauro says he can't do this. Johnny Gargano calls out Ciampa and says, we're going to do things the Johnny Gargano way. And then we get Grimes versus Lee, Broserweights versus Fish and O'Reilly for next week, live from the Performance Center. Not from Full Sail, but from the Performance Center. They're going to clear out the Performance Center and put fans in there? Or they're just going to have the wrestlers stand around and do this? I'm a little bit confused. I don't know exactly what's going on here, but hey, whatever. I think that's where they had halftime heat. I think they had some fans in the Performance Center, which was kind of cool, but when they did halftime heat, I think it was like a year ago. Bit odd, but okay, cool. We get the main event. Velveteen Dream versus Roderick Strong in a steel cage match. How was this? I gotta be honest, I'm not buying into this feud as much as everybody else, because Velveteen's supposed to be the babyface that he's trying to get, trying to drive a wedge between Strong and Marina Shafir, with all the mind games and the Rick Rude stuff and everything. So Velveteen's always been a bit of a tweener. They did have some nice, back and forth and some good cage usage. Roderick Strong at one point taking some sick bumps into the cage wall. Shafir actually does come down and gets a kendo stick into the cage, and that ends up coming into use a little bit later. And we get some more cage wall bumps. We get him using the kendo stick, Roddy, that is, for an assisted backbreaker. Some nice stuff. We get Roderick Strong getting his pants pulled down at one point. Okay, so, fortunately the camera cut away. Unless you're into that, hey, you like Roderick Strong, cool. You really got a kick out of that. Olympic slam off the ropes. We get Owen Hart like SummerSlam 94 dives to the cage door, which was really cool. And if you've ever seen that Bret Hart versus Owen Hart cage match, you know what I'm talking about. And we get 2 Dream Valley drivers, and he's up on top of the cage. He's going to hit the elbow, but no, suddenly Undisputed Era shows up. He gets down, and he fights them off. And then he sees that Adam Cole's in the ring. So he shoves Roderick Strong out the door. Roderick Strong gets the victory, but Velveteen Dream locks himself in with Adam Cole, and they start going at it. He fights off the rest of Undisputed Era again. Canes Roderick Strong and hits the Dream Valley driver onto the chair on Adam Cole. He has aspirations. He had a plan. His plan was, even though he lost the cage match, he lost the battle, but he may win the war. He wants a shot at Adam Cole at likely TakeOver Tampa Bay. So that's what we're going to be getting. And I'm all for that. Honestly, I think it's going to be pretty goddamn good. Pretty good. That being said, there were some things I didn't really care about on this episode of NXT. There were some things that didn't exactly appeal to me. Now, that's not to say the show was bad. It was better than some other weeks, but I'm still going to only give it a B-. And again, it was a solid show. It was well done, but 2 cage matches was just overkill. I'm sorry. It's just you can't do overkill like that. So B-. If I forget to put a poll above my head, please let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.